We can all probably remember a phone call or a moment that changed our lives. For Neil Walker, it was the day the Pirates called him up to the majors. And even though he's no longer on the field with the team, his new role as a broadcaster lets him still be part of the game that he loves. We were able to talk with him recently. Take a look. Neil, thank you so much for taking time to talk with us. What is it like to be in the ballpark, not on the field right now, but in the position you're in?
You know, I consider myself incredibly lucky. Number one, to have had the baseball career that I was able to have, and most of it to be here, but to be able to come back to this community and this city and raise my children in the North Hills, but also be able to come back and do some broadcasting and be a part of the organization, a small part of the organization, but still be involved. And I'd be watching the games regardless, and I'd be cheering for the Pirates regardless. So this is like the best happy medium of all of it combined.
Well, I really love this whole like full circle thing that you're still here, you're still a Pirate. What was your dream when you were growing up? I mean, would you have envisioned this?
I don't know if I would have envisioned the broadcasting aspect, but I mean, I can remember being 6 years old and watching Andy Van Slyke and Bobby Bonilla and Barry Bonds at Three River Stadium and sitting up in peanut heaven and just being glued as a 6-year-old watching the games. And that was my dream. My dream was to play in the major leagues. My dream was to play in Pittsburgh at the time at Three River Stadium and then at PNC Park. So to have that kind of come to fruition and to be able to have played here and then of course go some other places and get a different perspective of life, not in Pittsburgh, but then come back, I really feel like I'm, you know, one of the luckiest guys of playing the game and now transitioning out.
Well, you know, not many people can say that they were able to check off that thing off their list, that they did what they wanted to do, and you were able to do that.
Well, it's a great, you know, when I talk to kids and I talk to youth just about following your dreams and kind of all of that stuff, it's true. Like I'm a living example of this is what I wanted to do. I knew that I was going to have to sacrifice some things when I got to a little older ages, 14 to 18, and I did that, and I put my focus and my effort into my dream, and I achieved it. So I always try to drive that home to kids. You know, anything is possible, especially if you follow your dreams, but you also, it's not going to be the easiest thing to get to those places, so you have to really have the support around you, but you also have the confidence and belief in that you can do it.
So you're in the minors, and you get the call. What was that day like for you?
I mean, just flooding emotions. I was in Indianapolis, the team was in Cincinnati in September of '09. And I remember just being like, get your stuff, get in the car and drive as fast as you can to Cincinnati, which was only a couple hours away. And then feeling like, you know, it was a weird feeling because you know that you made it there, but you also want to stay. So you always kind of felt that edge.
And he rips it to right field. Somebody get him the baseball. First major league hit for Neil Walker, and they're excited.
And that edge really never left me until I maybe got to a point in my career a couple years in where I felt like I was going to be there and solidified there. But, you know, to know that I was going to have a short drive down to the ballpark every day, my parents were going to be able to come to 80-plus games a year, it was like a dream come true, not just for me, but for my family and friends.
So now you're in the major leagues. Was there ever a point where you had to pinch yourself? Were you on the field with like a player that you had looked up to, or even if you were playing against them, was there ever that moment for you?
Yeah, it happened a lot, and I think the biggest thing for me is I took so much pride in the wins and losses and the comments at Giant Eagle and at the gas station, and people, you know, just wanted to throw their 2 cents in. I never saw that as a burden. I never saw that as, and I still don't see that as a burden. I love it. Like, I love this community. I love what this whole city is about, and I think that it's ingrained in me so much that I don't know any different. And so, you know, when I was coming up, obviously, you know, the 90s and the early 2000s, things weren't great for the Pirates as far as wins and losses. So I remember being in the organization and thinking to myself, man, how great would it be to be a part of changing the culture and moving in the right direction and maybe getting to the playoffs and doing more. And then when 13, 14, and 15 rolled around, I took so much pride, even to the point where teammates were like, you know, why do you want the baseball after this game? Or why do you know, why are you getting emotional about things? It was like, you guys don't understand, like, it's been so long. I've been invested as a fan and as a player in my family and friends. So like I said again, I just feel like the luckiest guy in the world.
So when did you decide, when did you realize that moment that you were ready to retire? Because it's so much different for sports. You all retire at an age where we're like halfway through our careers thinking about like, all right, I got 30 more years till retirement. But you guys are kind of forced in a different avenue.
Yeah, and it's always kind of been an interesting thing, and how to transition out of baseball. You talk to a lot of people, and they said that first year is really hard, and I experienced that too. 4 or 5 months of it kind of being looking around and being like, well, I played golf a lot this week, or what do I do now? But I think physically, I think toward the end, I could tell like the day-to-day grind was really starting to catch up with me. Waking up in other cities and not having to open the curtains and figure out what city I was in. When those things started to hit me, I started to think, maybe it's time to do something else. But I was lucky to have accomplished so much, and when I transitioned out, having this relationship with the Pirates and already having conversations about potentially broadcasting, that was an incredible segue. So I was able to take a short period of time off and then transition to this, and I absolutely love it.
And we're wondering whether they might try to run on him more today.
Okay.
Because this is his first start in the big leagues.
So what is that like being in the booth now, and being able to watch the games from the perspective, like seeing somebody like a young Neil Walker coming onto the field, seeing the potential there in these other players?
It's a lot less stressful, I can tell you that. It's a lot less stressful of the day-to-day, and to figure out how am I going to get some hits today, how do I need to help the team win. But I still get mentally those feelings up in the booth of, okay, here's a situation, here's a scenario, how's this guy doing, what's going on in the game. So you roll all those things into one. By the end of the game, I'm exhausted, just not as much physically as I am mentally. So I love it from that perspective, and I'm really looking forward to doing more as time goes along.
And family is your focus now. You get to be home with them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I have a 6- and a 3-year-old at home. Get a great amount of time off, especially in the summertime when the weather's so great around here, and my wife sometimes is shooing me out the door if I've been home for too long, so it's a great balance. So we have a great balance. We're able to travel. I'm able to pick the kids up, drop them off from school, and all those things, and be involved in so much stuff, so it's a great balance.
Neil, thank you so much.
You got to have it.